Alright, so this is going to be a standard introduction to Gwen, my user interface plugin for Construct. I created Gwen due to the difficulties inherent in trying to create game interfaces using Construct's interface elements. All of Construct's elements look exactly the same. Some of the default ones can't be destroyed or hidden, and tricks have to be used to get around this fact. If you want to create a context menu or an inventory screen, you'd have to use an object that wasn't originally suited to this task, or a group of objects that aren't originally suited to that task. To make them suited to doing whatever you're trying to do, you have to spend time giving them events, you have to spend time aligning them properly, and so on. If the resolution changes, you have to do it all over again. Construct's interface objects just aren't that flexible, and the reason for this lack of flexibility is because they're based on the Windows API. Gwen solves all of this. Gwen's interfaces are totally flexible, they can be resized, destroyed, created, hidden, and they're fully skinnable. Gwen is a very large plugin with 28 different interface elements, each with its own commands and attributes, and because of this I'm going to have to make a general tutorial here to get you started, and create several more tutorials for each individual element of the plugin. If you're having difficulties installing Gwen, there will be instructions in the video description. In this particular video though, I'm just going to go over creating a few basic button controls and docking them so you can learn more about dynamic alignment. More advanced subjects will follow in more advanced videos. To start off, I'm just going to create the Gwen object. It's the same way you create any other object. Put it there. You'll notice this pink square, and that is the rendering surface of Gwen. Most people are going to want to put this on a layer that doesn't scroll, and most people are going to want it to be the size of the window, which in this case is going to be now put it 00720 by 400. Alright, now that it's set up to display properly, I'm going to go into the event sheet editor. At the start of the layout, as you can see, there's a ton of events in this plugin. We'll get to all of them later, but for now I just want to change the default font before I do anything, and I'm going to make it size 24 times New Roman, and create a widget. Every widget has a name and a parent. If it doesn't have a parent, it's considered top level, and right now, since there's no other widgets, it has to be top level. The top level is the root widget, which is the rendering surface you saw. We're going to call this one button 1. The name is what is used to refer to the button, because they're all created at runtime. There are no buttons that will be created at edit time. And this is all of the widgets that are in the plugin, but for now, button. Let's resize this. Alright, so I've created button 1, but it's not going to be any particular size until I set the size here. Now here's the first instance where the name would be used. I want to change the button 1 widget, so you would use the name. Alright, so this should show up. It doesn't have any text though. We do that with the common change text action. We want to change button 1. And we'll have it say button 1. There. Each button has its own triggers and so forth. As you can see, there is no button here in edit time. There never will be. All your widgets are runtime only, and they're fully created in the event sheet. They're not created at edit time. So you would create a create a list box, create an inventory panel, create an image panel, and then you're usually going to have a bunch of actions under that that will set its parameters, and after that sometimes you don't even have to do anything. oftentimes there'll be specific things you'll want to do. Like for instance, with the button, scroll down to the button here, on pressed. So on button 1 pressed, we can pop up a generic construct message box. I don't know, that says hi or something. There you go. So each button has a lot more triggerable conditions than a normal construct button. Is it toggleable on double click, on toggle on, off, up, down? Anything you want to do with that button, you can do. Docking controls. I want to dock this button in the top of the screen. So we're going to go to dock here. We want to dock button 1. We want to dock it on top. This will show you how quickly you can set up an interface, because what docking does is it does all the math for you. It is resolution dependent, and well, you'll see. It automatically sizes the button to the width of your game or your screen or whatever, and the height we've already set to 64. So now we'll create some more buttons here. Two more buttons. We'll just change their name of the button to button 3. And normally in construct at this point you would have overlapping buttons, and indeed we should have overlapping buttons right here. Button 3 and button 2 aren't going to trigger anything since we haven't set that up yet. But with the docking controls, I can fix this without messing with any coordinate systems at all. I don't have to say, you know, put this at 0, 0, then measure the height and put this at, you know, 64, 0 or whatever, you know. I just say dock button 1 to the top, then dock button 2 to the top, then dock button 3 to the top, and it's done. I mean, that's all you gotta do. If you wanted one of them to take up the rest of the screen, say button 3, we'll dock that to fill, and it's done. You want to make button 3 toggleable. We go to button actions, set type, toggleable. Button 3 is now toggleable and can be used for states instead of events. I mean, that's pretty much all there is to Gwen. The only thing we haven't really covered is parenting one object to another object, and that comes in useful later for things like tree lists. For now, this is enough to get you started. If you look in the description of the video, there's going to be links to a bunch of different other tutorials, and each one of those is going to go over each object in more detail. But really, that's all there is to it. Gwen is very robust. If you want these buttons to look like, I don't know, black with a nice little sci-fi theme, you can do that. If you wanted ducks to be on every single button, if you wanted icons to be on different buttons, anything you wanted, it could be done with the set image icon action here, right there. Very flexible. I'll get more in depth on that in the button tutorial, but for now, that's it.